Shalom everybody, this is Rabbi Rosner coming to you from Tiferet in Ramat Beit Shemesh. It's just a few days before Chodesh HaAviv, the month of spring, Nisan, in just a few days, and I'm so excited to be here giving you a few words of Dvar Torah from the Hagada, so that to prepare you a little bit for the upcoming Chag of Pesach. I hope everyone out there is doing well. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll all have a wonderful Rosh Chodesh and a Chag Kasher V'Sameach. So I want to speak about a part of the Haggadah that people don't speak as much about, unfortunately, and that's really near the end of the Haggadah. We know, and as part of one of the mitzvot of the Seder night, is to say Hallel. And classically, after Birkat HaMazon, Hallel Nirtzah, we say the Hallel. But right before we say Hallel, there are a few psukim in the Haggadah that I'd like to talk about briefly. And it says here in the Haggadah, Shfoch chamatcha el hagoyim asher lo yeda'ucha va'al mamlachot asher b'shimcha lo karau. Pour out your anger, to the nations that did not know you, and to the kingdoms that did not call in your name. The four psukim from the Nevi'im that come up here are all psukim about punishment, about anger against the nations that have sinned against us, that have destroyed the Beit HaMikdash, that have harmed the Jewish people. And we have to ask ourselves, what does this really have to do with the Seder night, with Yetziat Mitzrayim? So to answer that question, I think we have to ask a different question, and that's about Hallel itself. Why at the Pesach Seder is Hallel divided into two parts? The beginning of Hallel we say at the end of Magid, and then the rest of Hallel we say again after Barech at the end of the Seder. Why is that? Well, the simplest explanation for that is based on the Gemara in Pesachim. And we know the beginning of Hallel talks about Yetziat Mitzrayim. After all, the very first pasuk is B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov me'am lo ez. And so in the beginning of Hallel is exactly that. It's praising God, it's thanking God for Yetziat Mitzrayim. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Hallel on the Seder night is required for women. Usually, Hallel is a mitzvat aseh shehazman grama, and may not be absolutely obligatory on women. But on the Seder night, Hallel is really thanking Hashem for Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's part of Sipur Yetziat Mitzrayim, just as Magid is obligatory upon women, so too the end part of Magid, where we thank Hashem for Yetziat Mitzrayim, is also obligatory upon women. But that's the beginning of Hallel. How about the rest of Hallel that's afterwards? Well, the Gemara in Pesachim, Daf Kuf Yud Chet Amud Aleph, says, Lo lanu Hashem lo lanu, zohi melchemet Gog uMagog. This is referring not to Yetziat Mitzrayim, but to the war of Gog and Magog, which is the war that will precede Yemot HaMashiach. In other words, the whole second half of Hallel is not thanks for Yetziat Mitzrayim, but it's thanks in advance for the great victories that will occur at Yemot HaMashiach when the ultimate Geula comes about. And therefore, we can understand why this goes at the end of the Seder. But what does this have to do with the Seder, with Yetziat Mitzrayim, with leaving Egypt? I think that's pretty obvious too. As we say in the Seder, B'chol dor vador, that in every generation, kamim aleinu l'chalotenu, that in every generation our enemies try to harm us. In other words, Nisan and the Pesach and the Seder are not just about that one-time event of Yetziat Mitzrayim, but it's understanding that in every generation we have enemies who come up against Bnei Yisrael and try to destroy us. And in every generation, ultimately, HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu mi'adam, God saves us from their hands. So therefore, at the end of the Seder, what we're really saying Hallel for is that this is a process, an ongoing process, even in our own generation, in the present, obviously in the past, but also in the future. We know in the future we will have war. Unfortunately, it's part of life. And we know that right preceding Yemot HaMashiach, there will also be Milchemet Gog uMagog, a terrible battle. But we also know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will save us from that battle and bring upon us the ultimate redemption. And that's why we start right before Hallel saying, Shfoch chamatcha el hagoyim asher lo yeda'ucha. Because what we're saying is we are anticipating the future. We're saying we know that in the past, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you saved us from Mitzrayim, and we are anticipating in the future that once again, the nations that have harmed us, the nations that do harm us, the nations that will harm us, that once again, you will take the side of Bnei Yisrael in battle, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will ultimately matzilenu miyadam. And for that victory in the future, we are saying the second half of Hallel after Birkat HaMazon. I wish you all a Chag Kasher V'Sameach. We miss you here in Eretz Yisrael. Please come back. Please visit. And we hope you all have a wonderful, spiritual, uplifting Pesach.